Let's dive into polymorphism in Java. It's a core OOP concept and shows up in almost every interview. Can you start by explaining what polymorphism means?
Sure. Polymorphism means many forms. In Java, it allows objects of different classes to be treated as objects of a common superclass. It's mainly achieved through method overloading and method overriding. This helps us write flexible, reusable code. For example, a shape reference can point to a circle, rectangle, or triangle.
Let's start with method overloading. What is it?
Method overloading means defining multiple methods with the same name but different parameter lists. It happens within the same class. For example, I might have print string and print int, both named print, but they handle different types.
Is overloading polymorphism?
Yes, it's a form of compile-time polymorphism. The method call is resolved at compile time based on the method signature.
Now, let's talk about method overriding.
Method overriding is when a subclass provides its own implementation of a method declared in the parent class. It's runtime polymorphism. The method call is resolved at runtime based on the actual object type. For example, if animal has a method makeSound and dog overrides it, calling makeSound on an animal reference pointing to a dog will invoke the dog version.
What are the rules for overriding?
There are several. The method name and parameters must match exactly. The return type must be the same or covariant. The access modifier in the subclass must be the same or more visible. Also, the overriding method cannot throw broader checked exceptions than the parent method. That would break the contract and cause a compile time error.
Can you explain the exception rule with an example?
Sure. Suppose the parent method declares throws IO exception. The child method can throw file not found exception, which is a subclass of IO exception. But it cannot throw exception or a new checked exception not declared in the parent. That would break the contract and cause a compile time error.
What's a covariant return type?
It means the overriding method can return a subtype of the original return type. For example, if the parent method returns number, the child method can return integer. This was introduced in Java 5 to make overriding more flexible.
Can static methods be overridden?
No, static methods are bound at compile time. If a subclass defines a static method with the same signature, it hides the parent method. It's not true overriding. For example, if both parent and child have static greet, calling greet on a parent reference will always invoke the parent version, even if it points to a child.
What about private and final methods?
Private methods are not inherited, so they can't be overridden. Final methods are inherited but cannot be overridden. This ensures the method's behavior remains unchanged in subclasses.
How does binding work in polymorphism?
Binding is the process of linking a method call to its definition. Static binding happens at compile time, like with overloaded or static methods. Dynamic binding happens at runtime, like with overridden methods. That's why polymorphism is often called dynamic dispatch.
Can you give a real-world scenario where polymorphism helps?
Absolutely. In a payment system, I might have a payment processor interface with a method process payment. Then I have Stripe processor, PayPal processor, and Razorpay processor implementing it. At runtime, I can switch between processors without changing the calling code, just by injecting the right implementation.
What's the role of the super keyword in polymorphism?
Super is used to refer to the parent class. I use it to call the parent's version of an overwritten method or to access hidden fields. For example, inside an overwritten method, I might call super.processPayment to reuse some base logic.
What's the instance of keyword used for?
Instance of checks whether an object is an instance of a specific class or interface. It's useful in polymorphic scenarios to safely downcast. For example, if I have an object reference, I can check if obj is string before casting it to string.
What about the final keyword in polymorphism?
Final can be used to prevent method overriding or class inheritance. If I mark a method as final, subclasses can't overwrite it. If I mark a class as final, it can't be extended. This is useful when I want to lock down behavior, like in security-sensitive classes.
How does the instance initializer block relate to polymorphism?
Instance initializer blocks run when an object is created before the constructor. They're not directly related to polymorphism, but they can be used to initialize fields in a consistent way across subclasses.
Excellent. You've covered overloading, overriding, covariant returns, exception rules, static method hiding, binding, and real-world scenarios. That's a complete walkthrough of polymorphism in Java.
Thank you. Polymorphism is one of my favorite topics. It's where Java's flexibility really shines.